Hello, my name is Mars, and welcome back to Scarlet Hollow. It's been a while since I last played this game on the channel, but what better time when this game just had a major update, the Rose Untraveled update, which focuses on increasing player agency in the first two chapters. Some 70,000 words of new content has been added, in addition to new achievements and some UI improvements, which you can already see on the start menu, this nice leaf effect here, this transparency in the menu off to the side. If you go to the controls page, it's all transparent. You can see the image in the back. It's very nice, very atmospheric. So all of that aside, the most advertised, I would say the biggest, but it's the most advertised change, is the ability to actually refuse Stella's invitation in Chapter 1 to go recording in the woods and do other things instead. Like talk to Kanika, have a longer conversation with Duke. I don't even know what else, but that all very much appeals to me, both as someone who is not the biggest fan of Stella in general, and also as someone whose OC would absolutely refuse the invitation. Yes, that is right. In this new playthrough of the game, I will not be playing as Diana, who is who I originally played the game as on this channel. Diana was not a full-fledged character so much as she was me being contrarian and trying to do everything I hadn't done in my first playthrough. In this Roads Untraveled playthrough, I will be playing as an original character I came up with specifically for this game, Willow Scarlet. And note to self, editing self, here I'll edit in a few pic crews I've made of her, as well as the crappy drawing I drew of her myself. My dream would be to have a portrait of her, commissioned by a professional artist, and put it in, the thumbnail of this series, because it is kind of a side series to my other main channel playthrough, but I'm too socially anxious to approach any artists for that, so take these breadcrumbs instead. I have played at this game as Willow before, just on my own time, but as previously mentioned, the breadth of options that were available to me then did not fully reflect what I think she would have really done. And we're gonna get a chance to fully explore her character here. Alright, so hold on, do I need to enter? Yes. Alright, what city did I say Willow lived in? I think I'm feeling Seattle. That's really, really far away from North Carolina, where Scarlet Hollow takes place, but it seems it fits her in my mind. I don't know why. She is female, she, her. Alright, and now we get to the traits. So, the gist of Willow as a character, kind of the idea that inspired me to create her in the first place, is that she is someone who can talk to animals, but she doesn't like animals. Specifically because she is so socially anxious and avoidant that animals just constitute a whole new category of person to feel threatened by. You know, I am obviously quite socially anxious myself. This aspect of Willow is strongly inspired by me, as are some other things about her. But, you know, I have my cats, and my parents' cats, and my parents' dog, and they're all beacons of light in my life, specifically because they can't talk to me, and I don't have to think about them judging me. But if Willow can talk to animals, and we know from experience that the animals in the world of Scarlet Hollow can be kind of mean and rude sometimes. They have, full human-like personalities. You know, I think that someone with a mental disorder like that, neurodivergent like that, would struggle with this whole second group of people that she has to deal with. I didn't realize this at the time, but I have recently become very obsessed with psychonauts, And the character I basically created in Willow here is pretty much just Compton Boole from Psychonauts 2. If you know him, you love him. He's a relatable king, one of my favorites, but that's neither here nor there. We're talking about Willow. So the traits I chose for Willow are, obviously, talks to animals. Just like Diana, you can talk to animals, animals can talk to you, and a gift and a curse. And street smart. Good at lying and hard to lie to. Fast talker, you can read people and read the room, no door can hold you. My justification for picking street smart is that, it says here that street smart characters are good at reading people, but that is not really the impression I got when I first played Street Smart from its dialogue options at all. The first time I played Street Smart, my impression was that many of its dialogue options are very confrontational and defensive, and they kind of assume the worst intentions of whoever they're talking to. And as someone who suffers from social anxiety myself, that kind of hypervigilance and suspicion of others matches my own thought processes quite well. Willow is bolder than I am, so she's actually going to say some of these negative thoughts out loud. And also, as a street smart character, as an extra bonus, she possesses a sneakiness that I do not. Perhaps because, unlike me, she had a very poor relationship with her mother Vivian and felt the need to sneak around her a lot. But we'll get more into, the whole backstory of this character, however much is relevant, as we play the game. I'm just super duper excited to finally get more Scarlet Hollow content, because we've been in a little bit of a drought with Slay the Princess taking up most of Black Tabby's attention. So, I'm excited. Here we go. You jolt awake as the bus hits a particularly nasty bump. You feel like you'd only just managed to start drifting off, and now here you are, awake again, and still exhausted. For a moment, you're hazy on the details of where exactly here is, confusing this bus with the many others that came before it. It would have been many, many others if she came from Seattle. But as your mind continues to reassert its existence in the waking world, the past few days come back into focus. The long-lost cousin, the bad news, the 26 hours of bus rides with countless late-night stops and city depots that would have felt unsafe even in the middle of the day. You wouldn't normally find yourself traveling like this, but your cousin bought the tickets. The funeral of Pearl and Scarlet, your cousin's mother, and your aunt seemed like something you shouldn't ignore, even considering your own late mother's rocky relationship with this side of the family. Fortunately, the end of your long journey is in sight. You're almost in Scarlet Hollow. Ooh, is that in red before? I don't think it was in red. You already see how beautiful they've made the interface here. I love it. So anyway, as I was saying... Oh no, he's still here. He's been sitting next to you for the past 5 hours, talking at you without pause. You're not sure he even stopped when you started to doze off. At first you thought he was just being friendly, but that was several hours of one-sided conversation ago. I was up in Maryland, looking for work, but mostly messing around because I was a dumb teen. Me and my buddies were doing our usual prank stuff, pushing joggers into the harbor, that sort of thing. Okay, yes, right away I think Willow is going to try whatever she can do to push this man away. And she's not going to do it with her words, she's going to do it by, feigning an illness, shrinking into yourself, body language. Those are the kinds of things that someone who is skilled at pushing people away would use, is body language. You begin to cough and your eyes start to water on command. Pretending to be sick has always been one of the better ways to get people to leave you alone in strange places. Oh, are you sick? That's alright. I'm pretty sure I've already had whatever you've got. I'm sick all the time. Gotta keep my immune system on its toes, So this girl comes up to us, swinging her purse, yelling about how she was going to call the cops or whatever. It was hilarious. She actually hit my friend, and he said it hurt a lot, so I guess she really was mad and not just playing. But she kept swinging, and soon enough she lost her balance and fell into the harbor all on her own. We didn't even have to push her. We had a good laugh and fished her out, and her phone got soaked so she couldn't call the cops on us. We wound up hanging out all day. She kind of became my girlfriend after that, and we've been on and off for about a year, so it's pretty serious. Though about 5 months ago, she tried to break up for me, like, for real, and jeez. You ever get so mad you just want to, like, kill somebody? Oh yeah, this reminds me, just warning for anyone watching, Scarlet Hollow is a horror game. It does not mess around on the spooky stuff. Even idle dialogue like this, while silly, can occasionally delve into the unsettling. So, just a general content warning. You can find more specific content warnings on Black Tabby's website. I would recommend checking that out if there's anything you're worried about. Alright, so this guy wants to kill his girlfriend. Should we threaten him? Stop trying to get a rise out of me. See, really confrontational. I know he's saying something violent, but we are on alert. Stop trying to get a rise out of me. Stop it. Huh? Stop what? Whatever it is you think you're doing right now. You know what I'm talking about. This whole corner a stranger on the bus and try to make them uncomfortable act. I'm not playing along. Alright. Maybe I never really wanted to kill her, even if I threatened it a little bit. I honestly could have killed that woman. Anyway, she's giving birth to our son right now, so I'm trying to get up to Virginia to be there for it. But I don't know if I'm, like, into that stuff, so I might just wind up on a bus to New York or something instead. I've always wanted to go there. Is this new? Hey driver, how much longer to the next stop? Try to get the driver's attention? That doesn't seem very Willow, even though it's street smart. I think we'll just remain silent. You sit in silence as this man admits he's threatened to murder the soon-to-be mother of his child. A child whose birth he is currently missing and considering ditching to go have fun in New York. Anyways, where'd you say you were headed? I didn't. No need to be nasty, I was just asking. Not like I'm gonna follow you off the bus or anything. I feel like that sit in silence, like the narration to the sit in silence, it seemed like it was judging me. Like, what am I supposed to say in that situation? I don't think you can judge someone for being silent. You sit in silence because he just said he threatened to murder the mother of his child and is ditching her. You know? That is a reason to sit in silence. Game, don't judge me for being quiet sometimes. So, if you aren't getting off my stop, then you must be headed to Scarlet Hollow, right? Or the Holler, as they call it in these parts. That's the only other stop until this bus turns around. I ride it pretty often, so I'd know. Almost nobody ever goes up that way, though, come to think of it. I had a couple of buddies who went up there to work in the mine. There's a coal mine up in the Holler, you see, and there's always a job listing or two on the boards around here. I've never wanted to do that kind of thing myself. I like my lungs the way they are, thanks, but my buddies got desperate enough to try it. I haven't heard from them in a while, now that I think about it. I should see if they're on Facebook, see what they're doing up there. Hope they didn't die! I probably did. Wayne was probably most likely your friend. That's the prevailing theory. I've spent a lot of time in the Scarlet Hollow theory community, like the fandom, the Discord. I'm not on there now because as someone with social anxiety and avoidant tendencies, I don't do well in Discord. But I am much more well versed in the ins and outs of Scarlet Hollow than I was when I last played this on the channel. So if I slip a nugget like, oh, Bus Guy's friend was probably Sam Wayne, if I slip a little nugget like that in there, don't be too shocked. He looks back at his phone, for once focused on something other than you. Oh, this is me. It was lovely meeting you. Hope you don't get too bored without me around to talk to. Here, I have something for you. The stranger rifles through his pack before presenting you with a dripping bag of peanuts. They're boiled peanuts. I got them at a gas station a few buses back. I noticed you haven't eaten much, so I figured you could use them more than me. Plus, they dripped all over my bag, so I don't want to carry them anymore. Tip, sometimes picking a dialogue option establishes new facts about who you are. Should we take them? Let's just be like, no thanks. You put your hand up to say no. I'm not really hungry. There's still a good 45 minutes left in your journey, pal, assuming nothing goes wrong. Best to have them on hand. The young man sets the peanuts down on the empty seat next to him. The juices dribble out through the bottom of the bag and into the upholstery, instantly soaking it in peanut brine. And with that, I leave you. Safe travels, friend. There they are, all drippy and nasty. Love it. And just like that, you're alone. The stranger's peanuts soaking into the seat across from you. Maybe you can finally get some sleep. Next stop, Scarlet Hollow, end of the line. Almost there. The bus finally comes to a stop, its brakes squealing as it deposits you in front of the Scarlet Hollow bus station. The sign at least reads bus station, but calling it that feels disingenuous. At best, it's a kiosk. Though for a small town like this, you're amazed there's so much as a road, let alone a bus that drives on it every week. The driver quickly shuts the door behind you and starts the engine, kicking up dust clouds as he pulls away, eager to leave you in this place behind. Hey, Willow. You instantly recognize the worn young woman from the few public photos on her Facebook page. She's your cousin, Tabitha, and she looks annoyed to be here. Okay, so, quick fact about Willow. She does not have a good relationship with the concept of family. She did not have a good relationship with her mother, Vivian, because she could talk to animals. Willow could talk to animals, that is. She carries a little bit of the Scarlet strangeness with her, and as that is what Vivian left Scarlet Hollow to escape, the fact that her daughter could talk to animals made Vivian treat Willow oddly. Not that well. I wouldn't say she was abusive, but their relationship was strained, at the very least. So, Willow doesn't have a good relationship with family. She is going into this funeral out of a sense of obligation, but she is not here to make friends. She is not here to make friends with Tabitha, and I don't think that's going to happen. We're not going to have the nice cousin bonding time that we had in my last playthrough, because honestly, Willow isn't here for Tabitha, and I'm a little sick of Tabitha myself too. She is a wonderful character. Objectively speaking, she's amazingly written, but she is just so oversaturated in the fandom. The fandom just won't talk about anyone but her. And as someone whose favorite characters are like Reese and Kanika, especially Kanika, people hate on Kanika so hard because she doesn't like Tabitha. And I don't think that's fair, because Tabitha is nasty. You know, she has a soft center, but you cannot fault someone for looking at a person with a nasty outside and being like, they're nasty, I don't want to approach them. I don't think you can blame Kanika for it, and the fact that Tabitha stans are so hard on Kanika makes me dislike Tabitha by association, which is not fair, but I just think it would make this playthrough a little more interesting if we weren't so close to Tabitha, you know? Because everyone is all about Tabitha. So, we're not going to go in for a hug. We're not going to give our condolences. She said hey to us, so we'll say hey back. But with the dots at the end. Hey, Tabitha. Come on, let's get back to the estate. I don't want to spend any more time down here than I have to. Your cousin turns and motions to an old BMW parked near the bus kiosk. You follow her, clambering into the dusty relic. It doesn't take much driving before the only signs of civilization are the car you're in and the road you're on. Tabitha maintains an icy silence as she focuses on the road. I feel like this sprite might be updated a little bit. They updated a lot of the art in the first couple of chapters because they hadn't really settled on their designs yet. This one, something about the hair, it feels new. I don't know. Tip: dialogue options labeled Explore can usually be taken without advancing the story. They can impact relationships and unlock additional story paths, so choose carefully. Should we be... Let's attempt politeness at first. We don't necessarily know that Tabitha is nasty yet, so I think Willow would try some perfunctory politeness before she realizes, okay, she's not worth it. How are you holding up? Fine. So she wouldn't say I know how you're feeling. I lost my mom too, because she didn't like her mom. You don't have to hide how you're feeling around me. Tabitha might like this, honestly. We can say it. We can, like, say it kind of accusatory. Don't hide how you're feeling. Don't be like that. You don't have to hide how you're feeling around me. We're family, even if we just met. She sighs a particularly heavy sigh. Look, I appreciate your concern, but I'm fine, really. So, the funeral. It's on Sunday, right? Yup, like I told you. Have you worked out all the details yet? Taken care of. Don't need any help. And I don't think we'll say any of this. Remain silent. Willow prefers silence usually, so we might choose a few of the boring silent options. You decide to sit in silence with your cousin as the car eases up the steep mountain road. And here it is, the Scarlet Estate. Though it's seen better days, its crumbling elegance is not lost on you. Someone used to cramped apartments in gray cities. Your mother told you about this place many times before she passed, always with anger burning beneath her words, and I feel like some of that anger might have rubbed off on Willow, even if she didn't get along that well with her mother. The faded majesty you once imagined doesn't quite compare with what's in front of you, a jarring blend of opulence and ruin. As you stare at it perched on the crumbling cliffside, you can't help but feel like it's something that should have been left to rot a long, long time ago. You're hit with a blast of dusty air as you step across the threshold and into the foyer. Everything in this room has been here for much longer than you've been alive, each object cemented in place with layers of dust and cobwebs. You can hear doors creak on their hinges and the aches and moans of ancient floorboards as the house itself sways in the wind. Welcome to our family's humble estate. Unfortunately, due to the current state of the house, only a few rooms will be safely accessible during your stay. I wouldn't go wandering anywhere else if you value your limbs. The floors have been known to give out. If you know what's good for you, you'll stick to your room, your bathroom, and the kitchen, and hallways, I guess. But only the hallways you need to use to get to those places. I'll show you around so you know where it's safe to walk. You can leave your bags here for the time being. I don't think we would lie, necessarily. Willow doesn't lie just for the fun of it. When she needs to lie, she will. But, what would she say? So you live here? Kind of in disbelief? Yeah, and I'm letting you stay here for free, so mind your manners. Or did your mother not teach you about those? Let's just get the tour over with. Follow me. You put your bags down and follow Tabitha through a long, dusty hallway. She delicately steps over holes and tears in the floor, and you do your best to trace her steps. By the way, you are probably going to notice that Willow is a very flawed human being. She's not always the best person. These are flaws I recognize and acknowledge in myself, and I am just honestly trying to answer what me at my worst would answer, you know? Kitchen. On Wednesdays, a woman from town comes in and does the cleaning. Her name is Janie. I wouldn't recommend socializing with her. She'll talk your ear off. If you need any food, there's fixings for peanut butter and jelly. Don't touch my mac and cheese or my ice cream. Those are off limits. Oh, and you can also access the garden through here, but it's pretty wild, so I wouldn't if I were you. Some explorer options prevent you from taking others. Choose carefully. Is there somewhere in town to buy food? Just practical asking. I might want to eat something other than PB&J this week. Is there somewhere in town we can get groceries? Well, aren't you fancy? Yeah, there's a general store. There's also a diner. I usually order my food in bulk online, though, so I wouldn't be going with you. But I'm your guest. Should we be... Yeah, she's being nasty to us, so we're just kind of be nasty in general in return. But I'm your guest. Aren't you supposed to take care of me? I am, hence the PB&J fixings. They should get you through the week. Alright, I'm not going to comment on the fact that someone cleans the place. Alright, I think that Willow is going to sneak some ice cream. Because she's a stress eater, but, she can say, awesome, I love PB&J. How'd you know it was one of my favorites? That smile can't be real. I didn't, but good for you. What if I want ice cream? Then you can buy yourself some at the general store. If you touch my stash, I will know and there will be consequences. Alright, what's next? Bathroom, follow me. Great, it's been hours since I've gone. As the two of you leave the kitchen, you pass by a tuxedo cat sitting on the countertop. We won't try and talk to Frou Frou while Tabitha is here, but we will, talk to her a little bit later. You decide to leave the cat be and get on with the tour. We, unlike Diana, who was kind of open about the fact that she could talk to animals, Willow hides it. You once again follow Tabitha through a long, dusty hallway. Maybe after a few nights it'll get easier to navigate these spaces, but for the time being you feel lucky to not have fallen through the floors. Guest bathroom, not much to show. It's a bathroom. I'll wait outside. Do what you must, if you must. It's a wretched bathroom. Piles of junk sit untouched in the corners of the room, and mystery stains paint the floor. Ooh, light effects. Wait, are you sure this toilet works? Yes, why wouldn't it? The water bills get paid, therefore the toilet works. Now do your business so we can move on. Okay, you sigh in resignation. That's the spirit. Scram, fellas, the jig is up, say the bugs. Bugs skitter from the bowl as you lift the seat. Might as well. We don't want to pee ourselves later when the horror stuff happens. A toilet is a toilet. Sure, it could be cleaner, but your business needs doing, and this is as good a place as any. You do what you must and rejoin your cousin out in the hall. Next up, guest bedroom, last stop on the tour. Follow me. I heard some talk about being able to clean this bathroom. I thought it would be during that scene, but I guess that would be weird to do it during the tour. Maybe later. You and Tabitha briefly return to the foyer before climbing the stairs and reaching the guest room. This is where I'll be staying. The linens are fresh. I had Janie wash them last week. I had to endure a half-hour rant about her kid to get her to do it, so you better be grateful. The closet is full of old family stuff, so you can't hang your clothes up, but you can use the dresser. It should be empty. What a dump. I hate it. We're not going to be outright rude. I guess I'll start to get settled. Not gonna complain. Follow me. I'll take you back to the foyer so you can collect your belongings. This concludes our tour. I'm afraid I must return to my duties, so you'll have to entertain yourself for the rest of the day. Don't expect to see much of me. Some dialogue options will open additional conversation paths, some right away and others down the line. What am I supposed to do while you're gone? There's a very demanding job I should be getting back to right now that doesn't include figuring out activities for you to occupy your time with. I'm not your babysitter. Why don't you, I don't know, go walk around in town or something until you get tired. There are historic buildings to look at. I'm sure you'll have a great time. Do you think you can take me to town before you leave? No, it's just on the hill. You can walk there yourself. Where are you going? To work? Somebody has to pay the bills around here. What kind of work do you do? Just curious, getting the lay of the land. I run the coal mine, same as every Scarlet who came before me. Except for you and your mom. It requires a lot of time and concentration, so I'd appreciate it if you didn't keep me for long. I don't like this except with the hard emphasis on it. We're not bold enough to be like rah-rah activism, but that's kind of sad. Don't you ever think about things you could be doing with your life that might give you a better sense of purpose than running a coal mine? I think that fits in with the street smart side of things. Some of us don't have that luxury of choice, Willow. Some of us had to stick around to keep the family business from crumbling, to keep this town from crumbling. Some of us had to temper our expectations for how our lives are going to go. There's a simple satisfaction to getting a task done, and that's all I need. Do whatever it is you want to do while I'm gone. Just don't do anything dumb or dangerous, not while I'm responsible for you. Alright, time to be confrontational. You asked me to come here, but you're acting all pissed off that I actually came. What's going on with you? Look, I'm sorry I've been testy since you gotten here, but you aren't exactly one to talk. Clearly, you and I have very different opinions on hospitality. Maybe we can start fresh tonight. Just stay out of my hair until then, okay? I have work to do. She didn't say we were an awful guest, but she said we have different opinions on hospitality, so she's not our biggest fan at this point, and I'm okay with that. You decide to let Tabitha leave for work. Are we all set then? I'll see you tonight. Your cousin leaves through the front door. And now it's just you. You and this sprawling, decrepit estate. Well, she said not to go to the Forbidden Wings, so let's go straight there. We're a contrarian. With Tabitha gone, there's no one stopping you from going into the Forbidden Wings of the estate. Except for the locks and chains sealing them shut. An insurmountable obstacle for most, but a mild inconvenience for you. As the locks fall, the doors moan open, revealing the entrance to what must have once been an incredibly lavish ballroom. Faintly in the distance, you can hear the quiet notes of an old piano playing from another room. The Forbidden Wings are yours to explore. We're curious. You can see why your cousin warns you against coming here. It's clear that the chaos of nature is doing its best to reclaim this place. Years of detritus have piled here like gathering leaves, and the tiled floor has been torn apart, destroying the order that once made this place beautiful. The piano you heard from outside the ballroom has grown louder. Wherever it is, it's nearby. Maybe it's just a self-playing model, or maybe you aren't as alone here as you thought. You make your way over to the painting covering the far wall. It's a family tree. Angry scratches cover the space where your mother should be. There. As far as you can tell, there are 3 exits to the ballroom. There is, of course, the door you came through, and on your far right is a door beyond a broken floor, a dead end. Across the room from where you entered is the 3rd and final exit, a glass doorway you can just barely make out behind a pile of broken furniture. You move to investigate it more closely. As you approach, the playing grows clearer. Without a doubt, the piano is behind this door. Though you try with all your might, it's just too heavy for you to do anything more than budget. Leave. You return to the entrance of the sealed wing and carefully reattach the locks. After what you've seen and heard in the ballroom, you weigh how much longer you should even stay in the estate on your own. Well, let's go to the kitchen. You haven't had anything to eat all day. The only things louder than your stomach right now are the creaks and moans of this ancient place. A PB&J sounds exactly like what you need to take on the rest of the day. You need to take on the rest of the day. You head to the kitchen. We're mostly heading to the kitchen to talk to Frou Frou. There's another voice in this house who Willow feels like she needs to listen to. We've gotten Tabitha's point of view, and it wasn't one she liked very much, so she's here to get a second opinion that she couldn't get when Tabitha was here. You're back in the kitchen, ready to craft a beautiful peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's a daunting task, given the state of the place, but the aggressive growls of your stomach outweigh your fear of food poisoning. To get started, you'll probably need to find some peanut butter, some jelly, bread, a plate, and a knife. Approach the cat. As you approach the cat, you can faintly make out the name Frou Frou on her tag. She hisses as you draw near, but remains firmly in place. This is clearly Frou Frou's spot on the counter. You might want to talk to me, but I don't want to talk to you. Go away. Can you tell me about, Tabitha? What can you tell me about my cousin? This is the first time I've met her. Spare me your life story. Tabitha at least knows not to bother me. We haven't had the option of asking this. Someone or something was playing the piano in the sealed-off part of the estate. I don't think I've ever gone to the sealed-off part of the estate and then afterwards come back to Frou Frou, so this is interesting and new. What is that expression? Curiosity killed the cat. Keep poking your head where it doesn't belong, and you might not keep it for very long. But what do I know? I am only a cat myself. Alright. We don't want to get scratched. And I know that talking to Frou Frou a third time will get me scratched. Willow senses this intuitively, because she's known enough animals, she's known enough people. She recognizes this personality type that doesn't want to be talked to and will lash out if not listened to, so especially in cats. So she's gonna back off before she gets hurt. You back away from Frou Frou, trying not to make any sudden movements. It's good to see that you finally learned your place. So the cat's a bitch too. Frou Frou's eyes remain fixed on you with palpable disdain. As you approach the fridge, your eyes catch a note taped to the door reading, "Janie, stay out," in all caps. Below it, in separate handwriting, are the words, "Okie dokie." I don't think Willow really wants, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. She heard ice cream, and that's all she's thinking of. You open the fridge. You already feel a deep urge to wash your hands, even though you have yet to touch anything other than the handle. Tabitha explicitly told me not to do this, you think to yourself, as you reach for a pint of banana chocolate chunk. We can't help ourselves. We're hungry, and we want that ice cream. She'll be really mad if she finds out, your conscience warns you as you take a scoop straight from the pint and shove it into your mouth. Oh, Tabitha will love this. So, Frou Frou just noticed us eat this, so the first time I played this game as Willow, I had her do a couple of crazy things in this kitchen just to spite Tabitha. I had her eat the ice cream and then cover it up with Street Smart. I also had her eat the nasty takeout and stuff a dead mouse in one of Tabitha's mac and cheese boxes, which I feel is out of character for Willow. She doesn't have bad impulse control. She doesn't hate Tabitha at this point. She's just not a fan and keeping her distance. But also, she would not do these crazy things under the watchful eye of Frou Frou, who in her eyes is a full person with the capability to judge her and who very much will judge her, so she's not going to do those things. She's just going to eat the ice cream. Tabitha will love this. Before you know it, half the container is empty. Hide the evidence. Surely she won't notice if each container of ice cream has a small, almost imperceptible scoop taken from it. You jam each of these scoops into the half-empty container until it's once again brimming with banana chocolate chunk. As you return it to its place on the shelf, your guilt subsides. Your cousin will be none the wiser. Let's just examine old takeout for the heck of it. We are curious. Why did you do that? What were you expecting? This takeout container is disgusting beyond words. A liquefied mess, wholly congealed in its styrofoam shell. You can't even tell what it used to be. The substance doesn't just smell bad. It smells ancient. Put it back. Your body reacts before you even register what you're doing, compelled by a deep primal disgust. You shove the container back in the fridge, pushing it into the depths of the shelves and out of your mind. Hopefully you can forget it exists and move on with your life. Alright, so I don't think we're going to make the sandwich. I think we're just going to explore. Let's look at the garden first. This garden was reclaimed by the wilderness long ago. It might not be very safe, but who's to stop you from venturing deeper? Do you see? I think that's Dustin Mom. I think that's Dustin Mom hiding in the bushes there. You wander further into the garden. It's quiet out here. Okay, there's not much more. There's not more to do here. I never understood why it let you go into the garden on the first day. Let's just look in the pantry. Tabitha sure loves her mac and cheese. You pick up a box of Tabitha's mac and cheese. You can't say you've ever seen the brand before. Staying away from the mac and cheese was one of your cousin's hard rules, and she already seems to not like you. You put the box back where you found it, reluctant to make things worse than they already are. And let's search the cabinets now. This cabinet must be where Tabitha keeps the dishware and, oddly enough, the utensils. The mug reads, "I was blown away at Blowing Rock and Sea. So your aunt and cousin actually travel sometimes, even if it was only a few hours from the estate. Maybe you can route your return trip through Blowing Rock. It might be nice to see the local sights before heading home." The shot glass reads, "I survived Deb's 50th. Her aunt's name was Pearl Ann, so this wasn't from her 50th. From the few stories you'd heard from your mom, Pearl Ann wasn't the type to have kitschy friends who gave out themed shot glasses at their birthday parties." Alright. And we're not going to grab the bowl, because that would have us spill vinegar and dead flies on ourselves. You close the cabinet and look back out to the rest of the kitchen. You're not actually hungry anymore. Now that you've had some ice cream, you're not actually all that hungry. Maybe it's time to do something else. Let's look in the room. The aches and pains of your journey have started to sink deep into your bones. You stumble up the stairs to your room, suitcase in tow, eager to unwind before you face the rest of the day. You stand at the entrance to your room. Spare clothes and dresser. You drag your suitcase over to the dresser and open the bottom drawer. An opossum lurks within. It is quiet, but angry. "Afraid!" "Can you move, please? I want to put my clothes in here." "No, this Dustin house." "Can you tell me about the human who lives here?" she asks cautiously. "Which human?" "Pearl Ann died. Only one human lives here." "Dustin not good with names. 2 human live here." "Can you tell me about the humans who live here?" "1 human sad. 1 human scary." "Can you tell me about the scary human?" "Always watches. Eyes hateful." "Can you tell me about the sad human?" "Cries. Gives Dustin bad sleeps." "Kay." Alright. There was a piano playing in the Forbidden Wings. Do you know who or what was playing it? Dustin shivers. "Bad place. Not safe. Dustin no visit." I think that Willow actually finds Dustin quite charming. She's still going to try and shoo him out of the drawer, because she doesn't want someone living among her clothes, but she's going to be friends with Dustin, I think. "Go on, get. I need this drawer." You gently try to shoo the creature out of the drawer, and... "Afraid! Death comes for Dustin." You give up and close the drawer. Dustin will not be moved. That little faux pas aside, they're gonna make up. You open the top drawer next. It's empty. As good a place as you'll find to put your clothes. Based on the state of the house, you wonder if you'd have been better off keeping your clothes in your nice clean bag, but there's no going back now. You can see why your cousin said you should put your clothes in the dresser instead of this closet. There must be decades of family history stacked up in there. Not gonna touch the doll. Bad vibes. Some things are best left untouched. You close the closet behind you. You can only imagine how beautiful the garden must have been in its heyday. If you owned this place, you'd totally get out there with a shovel and some gardening gloves and whip it into shape. You'd go out and pull weeds, chop trees, carve topiaries, and do whatever you needed to do to return it to its former glory. And once it was all done, you'd sit by the fountain, which of course would have a little goldfish in it, and drink floral tea while enjoying the birdsong. Yeah, you'd definitely do that. Just not right now. This must be an older relative of yours, judging by the dates on the inscription. You'd never heard of her, but you'd barely heard anything about your aunt and cousin until a week ago, so that's not really a surprise. Maybe you could ask Tabitha about this Willow Scarlet the next time you see her. That is, if she's actually in the mood for conversation. That's enough. It doesn't seem like there's much else for you to do here right now. We'll head to town. Alright, I think that we'll keep going for a little bit longer than I let my first episode of my first playthrough go on. Because I want to start seeing new stuff. Now that you're settled in, there's not much left for you to do here other than head out and explore the town. You do just that. If you'd have known you'd wind up having to walk all the way back to town, you probably would have just asked Tabitha to leave you at the bus stop, especially with how unhappy she seemed to see you. If only you could wipe the slate between the two of you clean and bury some of the tension. Though, maybe her mother's funeral isn't the best time for something like that. Then again, maybe it's the perfect time. It's really pretty out here. Finally, you made it back to town. The holler, as that guy in the bus called it, has probably seen better days. It still has the feeling of an idyllic country town, but its sidewalks are cracked and many of the storefronts are boarded up, their windows dusty with age. A chill breeze sweeps down the lane and you shudder, suddenly feeling as if you're peering into a grave. And here come Gretchen and Stella. Gretchen, come back! Quit bothering strangers. Why, I do declare, who is this stranger? Sorry about that. Gretchen can be very slippery when she wants to be. She loves to get loose and cause havoc. Should we be honest? I don't do too well with dogs. I actually don't do too well with dogs. Well, I'd never. The gall to say something like that as though I'm not even a part of the conversation. Aw, don't worry about it. Maybe she can help change that, though. Stella, you are the sweetest, most understanding girl I've ever known, but sometimes I wonder if you are a tad bit too sweet and understanding. We're not going to be very nice to Gretchen, unfortunately. It breaks my heart. If you remember, my mother's dog is a little French bulldog. Not a pug, but a French bulldog who looks an awful lot like Gretchen, and it breaks my heart to be mean to her, but, you know, I'm playing as Willow. And Willow does come to have a soft spot for Gretchen in a way, so you'll see. If you'd like, you can try petting her. It might make her seem less threatening. I won't spoil how the end of chapter dilemma is going to go down with Willow. A, just because I don't want to spoil it, and B, because I don't know how it's going to change with the different path we're going to be taking, so I don't know. I'm interested to see that. Nervously try to pet the dog. Nervously try to pet the dog. You take a deep breath. You can do this. It's just a little dog, right? You reach out tentatively and pat Gretchen on the head, and she loved it. Bygones be bygones. I do so love receiving affection. Stella is overbearing and persuasive. Not enough to make Willow go out into the woods, but enough to get Willow to pet her dog. Her fur is surprisingly soft and warm, and touching her is a not unpleasant sensory experience. She snuffles and wheezes in excitement when you pull your hand back quickly before she can snap at you. No need to be shy now, I don't bite. Nice, look at you two hitting it off. You'll overcome your fears yet. But where are my manners, talking to you for this long without introducing myself? I'm Stella. It's not often I see a strange face up in the holler. Every now and then there's a new crop of coal folks, but you don't look dusty enough for that. You aren't in town for the funeral, are you? The Scarlet funeral? Do we want... I don't want to lie for no reason. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. You must be Tabby's cousin then, right? Upon mention of your cousin, Gretchen mutters under her breath. One of these days, I'll get that Tabitha to pet me. That's the only person I can think of who would come to town for the funeral. How's she holding up? To be honest, I've been a little worried about her all alone in that big house. I'm sorry, did you say Tabby? I can't imagine Tabitha ever going by something so... cute? She did back when I knew her better. It's been a while. I hope she's okay. That dialogue option is a little different now. Originally, the protagonist would say, I can't imagine her going by something so peppy. But they changed it. Now the protagonist trails off unable to find the word, and Stella provides a different word. Interesting. I like that they did a little bit of revising and editing to what's otherwise the same. Is she always so, you know, rough around the edges? Yep, that's Tabby for you. I wouldn't take it too personally. I'm not sure what it says about her state of mind that she's still her same grumpy old self. It'll probably be good for her now that you're staying there, even though she'd probably never admit it. She's not really worth your time. She is one of the rudest, angriest people I've ever met. You shouldn't worry about her. I guess we just see the world differently. I don't really think about people as individually being worthy or unworthy of my time or attention. I have enough compassion to go around, you know. That line, that is something that I really do like about Stella. And is something that I aspire to in my day-to-day life. Like, you know, I say I'm not a fan of Stella. I don't dislike her. She's not a bad person. I just find her a little bit exhausting, and I don't think that we would mesh in real life. That's what I mean by that. And also, she's a little too popular and oversaturates the fandom, so, you know how it is. Especially in a small town like this. Trust me, there's a kindness at her core as much as she doesn't want to admit it. Oh, before it slips my mind, if you're staying up in that spooky old mansion, you must have met the Frou-Frou. How does that monster fare? I will get her to let me pet her, even if it's the last thing I do. Ignore Gretchen, lest Stella discover your quirk. You choose to ignore Gretchen's question, lest Stella discover your secret powers. If you do see that devil of a cat, please send my regards, and do let her know that not only do I still draw breath, but that I very much still plan to outlive her. Oh, if you just got to town, you must be starving. I was just on my way to the diner for a coffee, and they've got amazing biscuits. My treat. Can we deny her at this junction? Can we deny her at this juncture, or is it after we've already been to the diner that we can say no? I think we don't want to spend any more time around Gretchen. Willow feels like she's already made a bad impression on Gretchen, and she's a little nervous. I think I'm just going to wander for a while. Thanks for the offer, though. Well, at least I won't be smelling that feline stink all through our lovely meal. And I was so looking forward to having twice as many table scraps as usual. Oh well, a dog can dream. Okay, if you're sure, you're missing out though. But I'm sure I'll be seeing you around. Don't be a stranger. The two continue on their way up the road, leaving you to your business. General store or town hall? Let's go general store first. You wander into the quaint little general store. The country ambiance clashes terribly with the goth woman behind the counter, who has been eyeing you with something between curiosity and dawning horror. Oh my god. She was clearly trying to say it quietly, but of course you heard her. You're the only two people here. Okay, so, Kanika. Kanika, my favorite character. I was not very nice to her in my playthrough as Diana, and I really regret that, because there's too much Kanika hate going around the internet. For no good reason. She's my favorite, and she is the one that Willow is going to try to romance. The goal with the romance with Willow is romance Kanika and get to be as good friends with Reese as is humanly possible, because secretly, even though you can't make it official in the game, the way that I designed Willow is to be in a polyamorous relationship with Kanika and Reese, because Kanika and Reese are my two favorite romance options in this game, but I also ship them with each other, so I'm like, why not create someone who can be in a throuple with them? There aren't polyamorous romance options in this game, I presume because it would be a nightmare to code, what with all the choice that already is in the game. And also, Kanika and Reese both have their own things going on. They don't really have time to reconnect within the story of the game, so yeah, but just so you know, that's the intention behind it. We're gonna be as good friends with Reese as we possibly can be, and we're going to officially romance Kanika. Street smart. Your reputation once again seems to have preceded you. That surprised look on her face is a look of recognition. And Willow is kind of into her, just from looking at her. She thinks she's pretty. Fare thee well, fair maiden. Find something to take to the register. Good idea. This is a store. Even if you're mostly interested in small talk, you'll be much better at it if you decide to buy something. Your gaze turns toward the shelves. Ice cream? Are we an ice cream fiend? Or would buying ice cream make her think that we're like Tabitha? Maybe a beverage. You grab a soft drink from the fridge and take it to the counter. What does this say? Jewelry by Janie. Oh, Janie makes jewelry. I love Janie. I can't wait until we have to save her from either choose her or her husband to save from whatever's going on in the churchyard. And also, is this print by Janie too? It looks like one of her alpacas. Oh, that's so cool. You grab a soft drink from the fridge and take it to the counter. That'll be $2, Willow. Wait, shit, you didn't introduce yourself, did you? Sorry. Everyone around here knows who you are. She's so cute. I'm Kanika, by the way. Only fairies should know my name. Everyone in this town is so friendly. I just met the Stella girl on the street and she offered to buy me a biscuit. Oh, you've already met Stella. Great, she's a much better welcoming committee than I am. You probably should have taken her up on that biscuit, though. The diner makes them like you wouldn't believe. Faux things spoiled me on business forever. Anything outside the holler just doesn't measure up. I'm so excited to be talking to Kanika on day 1. I'm curious about her fashion, but I wonder if she'll be offended by the talk of her town. And also, phrasing it like, getting away with fashion like that makes it sound like I'm judging her, and I don't want to judge her. She's so cute. What is there to do in town? I have a lot of... let's say, so you know Stella first. Oh yeah, I know Stella. We're the same age, which is a pretty big deal when you live in a town this size. We went to school together from K through 12. Tabitha was there too. A year ahead of us? Not that a year gives you any distance in a school that small. Anyway, Stella is probably the coolest person in town. She's a YouTuber, and she's getting pretty big too. You might have seen some of her videos if you're into creepy stuff. It's mostly her running around in the woods looking for fake animals, which she doesn't find, but it's got a great found footage appeal to it. Even though I don't believe in that stuff, every episode she gets me wondering if this is the one where she finds something weird out there. I love that Kanika and Stella are such good friends. It's so opposites attract, and I'm glad they have each other, even if things that go on might separate them. What is there to do in town? I have a lot of time to kill. If you're looking for something exciting, you definitely came to the wrong place. The only restaurant we have in town is a diner. The only real place to hang out is probably the library. There's a gas station, for what that's worth. And there's a bar. There's a bar? There is? Have we heard about the bar? I don't remember any mention of a bar before. But it's not exactly a place you want to go. It's a dive that's always full of miners. I'm pretty sure someone at the diner is throwing a party this weekend in case you want to go to a weird house party with a bunch of strangers the day before a funeral. If I were you, I'd just wait out the week, read a book and hope the days pass quickly, then go back to your life and forget you were ever here. That's what I plan to do. It doesn't sound like you're very fond of this place. No, I'm not. I spent enough time here for one lifetime. But getting out is always easier said than done. She is so pretty. Oh my god. I should pay before I forget. Probably important. You hand Kanika a 5 and she returns 3 ragged singles. As is custom, the beverage is now yours. I don't want to say you feel like the first normal person I've talked to because she likes Stella. We told her that we talked to Stella and she likes Stella. I don't know if we're bold enough to say fare thee well, fair maiden, but it was nice chatting. I'll get out of your hair now, but I'm sure I'll see you around. Yeah, I'm sure I'll see you around. This town is like 3 streets wide. Scarlet Hollow. Chat with Kanika at the general store early Monday afternoon. You find yourself on Scarlet Hollow's desolate main street once again. Alright. That, I think, is a good place to end. We will go to the town hall, aka the library, and talk to Oscar next time, I hope. I should probably save. I should make a save. Oh yeah, I've made... If you want to see how many saves of this game I've made, all with different characters with different names, there's my original Willow playthrough. I'm on page 2 already. We're gonna save Willow here, though. So now that that's done... Oh, I'm so happy we got to talk to Kanika. Yeah, so... I'm very excited. We will go meet Oscar next time, I hope. Until then, I have been Mars, and I will be back with more Scarlet Hollow.